Hey, Sienna. I hope you're doing well. This is Mr. Workman. I've been meaning to send this video. I started out by saying, oh, I should send an email. And then I thought, no, a video would be better. But then I dragged my feet on a video. So I'm sorry. But I'm not sure exactly where or when this video finds you. But I have some things I can tell you about what we're doing. And if I zoom out a little bit and kind of give you the big picture, I think I can create some flexibility for you to, if necessary, to create your own assignments and demonstrate your learning however you want to, okay? So you may have noticed if you visited Power School recently that we've started, we did a little drill on the 3 R's, but don't worry about that. What we moved into was a historical survey of our first case study, right? So this whole trimester is going to be about campaigns of groups of people who have had to fight to restore their rights. And we're going to begin with a case study of African American history. The idea is we're trying to connect to current events in the United States, since there's so many stories that are in the media constantly about Black Lives Matter as a movement and the systemic racism, which is a term that you hear a lot in the media that's driving this campaign. We thought that we would start with African Americans and go all the way back to slavery and retell that story in 4 chapters, so that when we get caught up to the present day, the protests in the street make a little bit more sense to us. So the first chapter is slavery, and the next chapter is a period that is nicknamed Jim Crow. It's after the slaves are freed. There's a time period where laws are passed to keep free Black Americans separated, legally separated from whites. That's chapter 2. Chapter 3 is going to be what is famously known as the Civil Rights Movement. So after World War II, there's a series of events that kind of spark a full-on movement. Some of these events might sound familiar to you, like Rosa Parks, for example, the little old lady who refuses to give up her seat on the front of the bus, and a dozen other famous people and events that kick off 2 decades of the modern civil rights movement. That's chapter 3. And then the final chapter is going to be kind of a current events look. We'll zoom in on the Black Lives Matter movement, and we'll confront this question that some people ask today. Some people who don't know their history might have a knee-jerk reaction to watch the news today and say, I don't understand what they're still so mad about. We elected a Black president. I thought we were past racism. The purpose of detailing the history and then talking about what is systemic racism, what is institutional racism, and seeing history through that lens is going to help us kind of understand the moment a little bit. So 4 chapters, each chapter presented in a similar pattern. You'll see that chapter 1 has already been published, and it starts with the slideshow starts with a couple overview videos, and then each of the slides walks you through the history of that chapter chronologically, and it has these funny little links on some of the pages. I found a cool GIF file that kind of looks like a spiraling time warp, and I'm calling them wormholes. So they're essentially links that encourage you to go off on a little time travel and listen to a song or watch a video or somehow enrich the learning that's in the slideshow by experiencing some type of media that takes you deeper or that reaches you at a deeper level. Like maybe it helps you feel the history a little bit more. So overview videos, slides with wormholes. There's a little vocabulary review at the bottom, which at the moment there's been no formal activities with that. It's just a nice little formative check for you. After going through the videos and the slides, do I have a general understanding of these vocabulary words? And then at the end is the second day's lesson on that chapter. So the chapter on slavery has one slideshow, but it gets delivered in two separate lessons. The first one is simply getting exposed to the history. And the second lesson is like an enrichment activity that shows up at the very bottom. It's 3 slides or 4 slides long. It's called enrichment activity. And this is an activity that's designed to reach out to you and invite you to reach back and grab a hold of history at a deeper level, an emotional level. We're asking you to choose an artifact, study it, reflect on how it makes you feel, and then post a response on Flipgrid that answers 4 questions. And those 4 questions you can find at the bottom of the slideshow. And you'll also find the link to the Flipgrid on the next day's lesson plan. Remember that those are posted on PowerSchool. Those Flipgrid videos are linked by block, and that'll give you an opportunity to watch your classmates' Flipgrids. And if your assignments are coming in after the fact because you're looking at student examples, I'm fine with that. But the big message of this video is to let you know that I'm also fine with you and I negotiating some kind of alternative way for me to measure your understanding. You might choose to watch the videos at the top of the slide, to browse through those slides, to click on the wormholes. You might decide that you want to go off and watch a documentary. You might want to sit down with your mom and dad and watch a movie. One that comes to mind is 12 Years a Slave, Academy Award-winning movie from a couple years back. Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely certain if it's content that is fully appropriate for your age level, and maybe your parents would have to step in and filter that a little bit. But the point is, in this environment, particularly in the environment that you find yourself in, I don't need to be too concerned about being faithful to the details of PowerSchool assignments. All I want to do is keep you engaged in the topic at an intellectual and an emotional level. Somehow, in the little bits that I can reach out to you, I want you to continue to be intrigued and interested in the topic, and I want you to be learning. And it's okay if that learning is inspired entirely by the lessons and the materials that I deliver your way, but it's also okay if that learning is inspired by going off on your own tangents and choosing your own materials related to the topic, and then choosing your own mode of sharing it back to me. You could send me a video reflection that's a lot like the one I'm giving you. You could type this up in a formal essay. You could type up, these are the things I'm learning and these are the things I'm feeling. You could put that in the body of an email, all right? Whatever it is, I would like your response to be thoughtful and carefully prepared. So if it's verbal, plan it out on a note card and follow some bullet points and be organized in your thinking. If it's written, draft it up on a napkin first. So since you're not here on a daily basis to be checking out with that Google form that we've started using, there's something that's missing is the daily practice at writing a quality paragraph. I'm not a language arts teacher, but I do need you to develop the skill of having a statement and then getting to work proving it or supporting it with clear evidence and examples and explanations and transitions. The ability to write one beautiful, elegant, well-supported paragraph is really, it's the most important thing to me, because if you can write one beautiful paragraph, then I know that you can write 5 pages of them. But if you can't write one beautifully crafted, well-supported, elegant paragraph, then for goodness sake, I definitely don't want to read 5 pages of that. So anyway, I hope these instructions are clear, even though they're kind of wide open. And I hope that overall you're hearing underneath this message, you're hearing the undercurrent of support and care and empathy. As you know, I'm losing sleep as well. Last week, I set my alarm at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m., and that was in the middle of my work week. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it too. And I want you to give yourself permission to back away, and if possible or if necessary, create your own independent study on the history of the African American struggle in 4 chapters: slavery, Jim Crow, civil rights movement, and then the modern Black Lives Movement around police brutality and systemic racism. Okay, I probably left you with a bunch of questions. And whenever you're ready, you can send me an email to let me know how any of this sounds. And I hope that you're doing well. Say hello to your family for me. Say hello to the United States for me. Stay healthy. Try to stay inspired. And the best way to do that is by giving yourself a break. And forgive yourself for not being able to stay on the schedule that everybody else is on. Your body will thank you. Your mind will thank you. Your family will thank you. And at least this teacher will be 100% in support of you as long as I can see that you are curious, engaged, you are learning, and you are demonstrating evidence of that learning with carefully planned and well-crafted pieces of your thinking, whether that be spoken or written communication is fine with me. All right, Sienna, that's all I have. That was a lot. Thanks for listening. Be well.